For the next month, Jonathan would recover from his injuries, being treated by Nabu. All the while, the pain in his heart, the loss of his father, the betrayal of Dio, still resting heavily on his mind. There was also the worries of those back in his homeland, especially for whatever Dio could have been concocting with whomever he had struck in the deal with, as Nabu would put it. But now he was in no condition to do anything, no condition to fight. However, once he felt himself restored, and once storing away his bodies of his father and those who had fallen in the temple, within the tombs, he set his sights on returning home, only for him to be stopped. If you plan to leave the way you are now, I can assure you of one thing. You will die a painful death. What am I supposed to do? I can't just sit around and do nothing while Dio continues to get away with his schemes. And I am not saying that you should. You said you saw the prophecy, my fate, that I would be some warrior, child of light. If that is the case, then allow me to do my duty. I am the one who must put a stop to Dio and avenge the death of my father. You cannot dissuade me. You will be the one to defeat Dio. But you must understand that there are greater forces at work, far more than just that of a petty rivalry between brothers. A petty rivalry? That snake killed my father! Yes. And if you are not prepared, that snake will seep his poison into the world. I am sorry for your loss, Joestar. But one thing you must make very apparent is to put aside your petty notion of revenge. This is far beyond just you two. For better or for worse, your destiny has called upon you, and you must answer. If you do so, you put aside your own dream, your own ambitions, your own desires. All of them will fall to the wayside. Have faith, Joestar. Have faith in yourself, in your abilities. Have faith that good will rise again. And what am I supposed to do? What has Dio become? He has become a child of darkness, a child of Wotan. Who is Wotan? Wotan is a master of darkness, a being from ancient times. If you know so much about him, why haven't you done anything? Nabu would gesture for Jonathan to follow him outside of the tent. It was still nightfall, and only the light of the crescent moon shined upon them, the sky adorned with stars. They did not go far from the tent as Nabu would tell Jonathan to stand where he was. As he outstretched his arms, a light would begin to form around Nabu, as the symbol of life would etch across him. In a flash, Nabu would disappear, and all that was left was a golden helmet. The eyes of the helmet would set aglow, appearing pure white. It began to fill Jonathan with fear as he heard Nabu's voice, but this time more booming, commanding, as if it were the authority of God himself. I am the Lord of Order. My power is too great for me to exist in this realm. As such, in times of peril, an avatar is chosen to wield my power. That is why I have chosen you. I have dwelled in this land for well over 1,000 years. And now, the power of fate is needed once again. You were chosen. The helmet would turn back into Naboo. I tried to get to you and to your father as soon as I could, but unfortunately, the darkness had done its work by the time I arrived. I could only save you. I see. So, you wish for me to take on a role, yours. Yes, become my vestige. My power will flow through you. You will become the conduit of light. It is your destiny, Jonathan Joestar. My destiny relies in my home. With all due respect, Naboo, I don't really take too kindly to the idea of my fate being chosen for me. My fate is whatever I decide it to be. And for me, my destiny is to defeat Dio, to avenge my father and put an end to his evils once and for all. Dio is my burden to bear, and one that I will bear alone. If you believe so, Jonathan, then you have already lost. No one man can defeat Watan alone, or his forces. You will need help. You will need training. Then teach me. It doesn't matter what it is, how grueling or how difficult. Wherever trials lie ahead, I will face them. I believe you. That is why there is not a moment to lose. Rest for the night, and tomorrow your journey will begin. The next day, as Jonathan awoke inside of the tent once more, his father's body that had now been properly preserved was gone. He had wondered what had happened to it. In its place, he saw the helmet in question, along with what appeared to be a cloak and an amulet. Taking hold of the helmet in his hands, all he could do was hope that Naboo had done right by him. Packing what little he had, he set off on his quest. He had no idea where he was supposed to go, what exactly he was supposed to do. He tried calling out for Naboo, but he heard nothing. He held on to the helmet, speaking to it for hours on end, but nothing came. With no choice, he decided to set his sights back to London. As he traveled, before long, he would find himself in the country of Greece. It was just but a small port to the next leg of his journey. But as he walked on a stone road, he saw what appeared to be a man standing on water. Of course, this caught his attention mightily, stopping in his tracks as he got closer to see the man in question. The man was indeed standing on water, dressed in what appeared to be a white three-piece suit and a top hat, rather gentlemanly, with a dash of flair and style. The man was standing in front of a large stone with a frog set on top. The man would raise his fist to bring it down onto the frog. Jonathan, worried for the poor little creature's life, yelled out for the man to stop. His fist seemingly made contact with the small creature, but nothing happened to it. What appeared to be a surge of energy flowed through the frog and into the stone, cutting it in half and splitting it into the water. The little frog hadn't been harmed in any way. After finishing, the mysterious man turned to the one that had called him. So, the prodigal son finally makes his return. Prodigal son, I have been expecting you, child of Naboo. Child of Naboo. Naboo, you know about... I know many things. And I must say, to see that you are the one that he chose, you definitely have the spitting image of the child of Naboo. Although, I question if you truly have the heart and resolve. But we will find out in due time, now won't we? Who exactly are you? I am so glad you asked. Please, forgive my insolence. I am Will Antonio Zapel, at your service, Master of Hamon. Hamon, indeed, the power of the sun itself. You have been chosen as its avatar, and I am the one that will guide you on your journey. From here, Jonathan would come to learn more about Zapel, learning of his story and his connection to the stone mask. You sound like you, Zapel said. Yes, my father had an exploration company similar to your own. We too journeyed out to discover artifacts and treasures, things never before seen in this world. I traveled to South America, and in my journeys, it led me to contact with that cursed mask. The mask that cursed my father, destroyed my crew. I promised from then on out that I would not rest until I destroyed that cursed artifact. In all of my years of training, it led me to Mesopotamia, where I came face to face with Naboo. I had thought that maybe I would become the Avatar, the master of fate. But it seems that is not what destiny has written out for me. I was told to come to this very location and to wait and train the true Dr. Fate. A doctor? I don't really believe I'm a doctor of a different kind, young Joestar. A doctor of a different kind. You've been waiting for me then. Indeed. But, just as you had no idea of what direction to go, I had no idea who I would be waiting for. Until I saw you. I can see it irradiating from your body, as if the sun has come from the sky and stands before me now. The blessing of Naboo is with you. This Hamon, this power. Why me? Such questions, ones only you can answer. Well, what are we waiting for then? The sooner we can get started, the better. How long is it going to take? Patience, Joestar, patience. With all due respect, I don't have time for patience. If this Wotan, Dio, they're bad news, we have to stop them quickly. We have no time to waste playing around and... In one punch, Jonathan found himself collapsing to the ground, hardly able to breathe. Stand up, Jonathan. You wish to save your home. Stand up then. No? Can you not? If you can't stand, you can't fight. If you can't fight, what good are you? Yes, that's right. You can hardly control your breathing. That is the key to Haman. That can mean the difference between life and death. If you can't breathe, you can't fight. It's easy to talk a big game, but when your back is against the wall, you'll start singing a different tune. Trust and believe, Joestar. Before we're done, you will be broken. You will be broken down piece by piece, atom by atom, and you will be reborn, rebirthed as the child of light. And when you are, no one will be able to stop you. For the next 3 years, Jonathan and Zapel would train intently in the ways of Haman. Haman was the gateway for Jonathan. Using Haman energy, Jonathan was capable of manipulating it to great heights through spells and other form and means, being able to manipulate it, whether for his own physical strength or through the properties of alchemy or other sources of energy and usage. Before long, his training would come to an end, and as it did, Jonathan could hardly recognize himself. It all came to a head on the night before they were set to depart to London. Jonathan was left alone in a cave, along with the helmet of fate. A helmet that had not shone or aglow for over 3 years. Jonathan was left alone with no light, no source, nothing at all, in the pure darkness. It was then that suddenly the helmet would set aglow, hovering in front of him, illuminating his darkness. You have grown, Jonathan. Naboo. It is good to see you again, old friend. The time is nearly upon you, Joestar. The time for you to fulfill your destiny. Take hold of my power, Joestar. Set your heart ablaze with courage and strength, and become the progenitor of light. With that, Jonathan would exit from the cave, Zapel taking note of his transformation. I must say, the blue and gold suits you fine. Jonathan was even surprised himself by the transformation of his clothing. At the removal of the helmet, he had returned back to normal. That's funny. I never expected Naboo to be a tailor. Well, you know what they say, Zapel would tell him. Clothes make the man. Now, enough of the fashion show. It's time to get down to business. Your homeland needs you. We've waited long enough, but now it is time for action. Right. Jonathan turned to the morning sun, watching as it rose to the sky to greet them. I haven't forgotten what you've done, Dio. I do not know what evil has possessed you in your life, what has made you walk down this path of sin. But I know one thing. Continuing in this way will only bring death and destruction to everyone and everything around you. I am sorry, truly I am. But I cannot allow for your evil to persist any longer. You will pay for your crimes, Dio. You will answer for your dark deeds. Your sins will be exposed by my light of justice. Say forth, Dr. Fate. This concludes JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Star of Fate. What if Jonathan Joestar was Dr. Fate? Season 1, Part 2. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that is to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, The Star of Fate. What if Jonathan Joestar was Dr. Fate? Season 1, Part 3. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.